Welcome back to Von Blues Boxing, man. What's going on with everybody? Hold on, let me flip that camera. That didn't work. All right, so what's going on this Sunday, the Super Bowl Sunday, man? How's everybody doing? And I hope everybody's doing good, man, and doing fine. So what I'm making this video on today is some of the little film study I did with watching Brian Castano and Patrick Teixeira. And I think this is a hell of a fight. Brian Castano, Patrick Teixeira, both fighting for the Patrick Teixeira's WBO junior middleweight title that he won against Carlos Adames. When he was the underdog in that fight and he pulled it off. It was a tough fight. I mean, he made adjustments, really, he made some good adjustments in that fight, because when I was watching that fight, Teixeira and Adames, one thing I noticed was Patrick Teixeira in the first couple of rounds, he was getting hit with right overhands and getting hit with right hooks because he would just step back instead of, stepping to the side or, stepping, he didn't do that. He wasn't stepping to the side and, using side movement instead of just stepping back and mixing it up. But once he started to do that in the fight, once he started, stepping to the side and stepping forward, stepping to the side, instead of just stepping straight back in a straight line, he started catching, he started having more success in controlling Carlo Adames with that jab. So, yeah, that was something I seen Patrick Teixeira do so good. So, Patrick Teixeira is coming off that win. He's a WBO junior middleweight champion. He's only had one loss to Curtis Stevens some years ago. He's been on a good run, and here's a big opportunity for Patrick Teixeira to beat another, top 10 guy beat a top 10 guy like Brian Castano. It's a really good fight. And yeah, that was just something I wanted to talk about as far as Patrick Teixeira. Then we got Brian Castano. Brian Castano is junior middleweight. I believe he's 17-0 with 11 knockouts. He's very seasoned. He fought in the World Boxing Super Series. I mean, not World Boxing Super Series. He used to fight in this World Boxing tournament. He fought Sergey Derevyanchenko many years ago. So he's got a really good amateur experience. He's got a good experience from fighting in air. And he's just a really good fighter. He had a split decision against Edeslandi Lara when people didn't think Castano was going to beat a guy like Lara or even have that type of fight with him or get it close like that. And he did. And then he came in there and he stopped Wale Omotoso, stopped him. He's a really, I think Wale got injured, but Teixeira hurt him. Really talented fighter. I like Brian Castano. His style is very solid. He has a very good style, good high guard, throws a good jab, throws punches really well, moves his feet pretty well, knows how to get himself. Being a shorter fighter, being at 5'7", fighting at 154 junior middleweight division, he knows how to use his feet, and he uses a good upper body movement, uses a high guard to block his shots and to protect himself coming in, steps in and steps out pretty well too. Castano's very solid, very talented, and he has very good skills. You know what I'm saying? Those are good jab. Even though being a shorter fighter, he doesn't abandon his jab. And Castano throws that left hook to the body really well. He mixes it up. He goes to the body and head, but he throws that left hook to the body, and then he comes up top with a right hook or a left hook. And yeah, he's really good, man. Brian Castano has a really good he has good defense, good offensive fighter. He's smart in the ring. He knows how to pick his shots. He knows how to bait his opponent. He knows how to bait his opponent really well. So, Brian Castano is a really good junior middleweight, man. Really talented junior middleweight, and it's his chance to become a champion. And so before I get into the film study, here's an opportunity, for if Patrick Teixeira wins, he has a chance to probably fight somebody like, I was thinking Tim Tszyu would be a mandatory and make some money in Australia. If he does, that would be a possible opponent. He's with Top Rank. That's a possibility. And then there's another possibility of Jamel Charlo, if they can some way Golden Boy and PBC. I mean, they just worked with each other, so it shouldn't be much of an issue because Brian Castano's with the PBC, so he could go and fight for an undisputed 4-belt unification, undisputed fight against Jermell Charlo. So that's his option. And Castano, same thing. If Castano wins, it's going to be just easier for him and Jermell Charlo to make that fight. So he could fight somebody like Jermell Charlo or take on Tim Tszyu, take on another mandatory before that fight or something like that. So those are the options for those two guys after they, after this fight. So I wanted to get into the film study a little bit. One thing, like I said, I'm going to start with Patrick Teixeira. I talked a little bit. Patrick Teixeira is good at keeping the distance. He's good at keeping the distance. He's good at using the jab. He has like a nice overhand right, and he throws he has some nice punches. You know what I'm saying? He throws a nice little overhand right. He's sneaky. You know what I'm saying? He's very deceptive. He's kind of deceptive. His defense is something, Teixeira got to make sure it's tight in this fight. He got to be careful of those body shots from Castano, and he's got to keep that hand. He's got to make sure he gets his left hand back up. You know what I'm saying? So he don't get hit with those hooks, because that Castano's going to be looking to try to catch him with an overhand or a hook, because one thing Patrick Teixeira does well also too, he throws a nice jab to the body. He goes up to the head and the body and the chest, and he does that really well, and he'll throw it straight to the body. So he knows how to keep you at distance and hit you with shots from the outside. He's really good at that. That's one thing I've seen in Castano. So that's going to be key for, for Teixeira in this fight, is keeping the distance and catching Castano when he come in and out, because Castano gets caught a lot. Castano gets caught with straight punches when he steps back sometimes. You can get caught with that. I seen him get against Lara. He was getting caught with good straight punches at times. So that's going to be key for Teixeira. Straight punches, keeping his distance, going to the, keeping that jab at the face and the body, keeping the distance and moving his feet, making it hard for it, becoming a hard target for Teixeira, the shorter fighter, to hit. If he can do that, then he has a chance to win this fight. If he can keep Castano at bay, keep him with the jab, hit him with the straight hand, feint him at times, don't step in too much, don't overextend too much against the shorter fighter, he has a chance to win this fight. Now, the things that Teixeira needs to make sure that he has right in this fight is getting his hands up. Getting his hands up after the exchanges, because with Castano is a sharp puncher, and he's a pretty good counter puncher, and he has good power. He can hurt you if you don't, and he throws it and he goes to the body. So that's going to be key for Patrick Teixeira, keeping those hands up after exchanges, making sure that he's always got his chin tucked, and keeping them fight at a distance. That's going to be, that's key for him. But also another thing I see Teixeira that he gotta work on this fight. He can't just be sometimes he leans forward, and when he steps back, sometimes his chin is up high. So that's gonna be key for him to work on those things. When he's stepping in, make sure he's hunched over and he's got his hands up. And when he's stepping back, he gets his hands up, or he moves his, he lowers his body level. He level exchanges, and that's going to be key for him. Make sure he level exchanges when he steps back. Like when he's stepping back, his head's back, he's down, he's doing that. So that's key for Patrick Teixeira. Those are the things that I think Patrick Teixeira has to, those are the things he has to learn. Now for Brian Castano. Now, the things I see Brian Castano said, I said it already, but kind of the things I said already, Brian Castano, that's what he does well. He's a good body puncher. He knows how to step in and out. He knows how to get in range with a shorter fighter. He uses his jab really well. He has a good high guard, a pretty good high guard, good upper body movement, good head movement. He moves his head off the center of the line pretty well. Castano's very balanced fighter, very, 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 very balanced fighter, and he has a really good left hook, left hook to the body, right hook to the head, or left hook to the body, left hook to the head. He does that really well, and he also has a pretty good right overhand. It's sneaky. He's got a good right overhand, and he's a good fighter. And so that's the key for him in this fight, is to get in the range. You know what I'm saying? Cut the distance, get Patrick Teixeira on the back foot. He has to be the aggressor in this fight from the bell. He has to push Patrick Teixeira back, has to have Patrick Teixeira on the back foot, putting pressure on him putting pressure on the times. Another key for Castano, body work. Go to the body. Take his legs away from him. Attack the body, stick to the body, attack the body, mix up your attacks well, Brian Castano. Don't just headhunt against Patrick Teixeira, because he'll make it adjustments to that. If you're just headhunting and looking to hit him with, hitting with hard shots, he'll figure it out, and he'll take that away. He'll try to take that away. So that's the key in that fight for me. You know what I'm saying? That's like the big, you know what I'm saying? That's a big key for Castano. And Another thing Castano needs to do in this fight against Patrick Teixeira, Brian Castano. Castano needs to also, when he's stepping back, keep his defense tight. Make sure he's defensively sound and he's on his defense when he's stepping back. Because that's when Patrick Teixeira, I feel like, is going to try to catch Castano when Castano steps back or when he takes a step back, or you know what I'm saying? That's when I feel like Teixeira is going to be looking to throw those hard, straight shots. You know what I'm saying? And catch Castano with something big, or, you know, deter Castano with those straight punches. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing Castano has to do in this fight. And also, Castano, use your feet. I feel like you have better, you know, the better footwork and the better footwork than Patrick Teixeira. Use your feet in this fight. Now, things he cannot do in this fight that he makes sure he be tight on. He cannot be overly aggressive. He just, you know, push forward, but don't be overly aggressive. Don't leave yourself open, you know, just trying to catch Teixeira. Because if you do, Teixeira will make you pay for that. So that's key, Brian Castano. Another thing for Brian Castano is when you stepping back, keep your defense tight. That's one thing, like I just said, you know, keep it tight. And another thing for Brian Castano, I mean, a thing he cannot do in this fight that I feel like it's something that he really, really can not do in this fight. He cannot afford to, I would say he cannot afford to underestimate Patrick Teixeira. That's one of the big things for Brian Castano, because I feel like Castano's the favorite in this fight. But he cannot underestimate Patrick Teixeira's power and Patrick Teixeira's intelligence in this fight. And I think those are the things that he cannot make those mistakes in this fight. So, yeah, that's pretty much my film study from what I've seen on the fights, from them fighting. Just a basic, brief one. And also, what's it called? I'll be giving my predictions for that fight. I'm thinking probably Thursday or Friday, I'll drop my predictions for that fight. And I'll be dropping my other predictions for the other cards on February 13th throughout the week. You know, so I just wanted to get that out there because I'm very excited about this fight. Ever since I heard this fight was getting scheduled, I was excited because I think this has potential to be possibly fight of the year type of potential, but we'll see. So yeah, man, definitely an exciting fight. Definitely, man. February 13th is an excellent day for boxing fans. So y'all be good. Y'all be safe, man. Enjoy the Super Bowl and have a good time with your family and friends and all that good stuff, man. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. Fawn Blues Boxing. I'm out.